it's been historically, if you look at the performance between the NPP and NDC in Parliament. So this is it. In 1996, the NPP candidate polled 61.1% in that election versus 38.1% for the NDC candidates. In 2000, it increased to 72.3%, and then it reduced for the NDC from 38.1% to 25.2%. In 2004, it still increased for the NPP, 74.9% as against 23.4%. Then in 2008, it increased again to 82.8% versus 16.1%. If you look at 2004-2008, the vote margin that the NDC lost between this period, you can see that is actually wide. Why did it happen? We'll be delving into that. But if you look at 2012, the votes for the NPP actually reduced from 82.8% to 78.6%. What accounted for that? Even though they still won the elections, they still, their results, their votes actually dwindled a bit. Look at NDC. At that point, it increased. So it's just fair to say that at any point in time when the NPP's votes increase, then you will see that the NDC's votes will decrease. Let's go straight to the Electoral Commission and listen to the Electoral Commission official declaring the winner for the Kumawu elections.
21,731. 731, sorry. And now, by the power vested in me, Paul Ajimai, as a constituency returning officer for Kumawu, I hereby declare you, Ernest, please come over. Ernest Anim of the NPP as a parliamentary member of parliament elect for Kumawu constituency. Thank you, and the people bless us all.
So you've just heard the Electoral Commission declare Ernest Anim as the winner for Kumawu. So he's actually now the Member of Parliament for Kumawu. So just as we were talking about the results that has been polled by both parties over the period, you realize that anytime the NPP's votes go up, the NDC's votes dwindles. But if you look at this point, it also shows that anytime the NPP's votes go down, the NDC's votes, actually increases. Now look at the NPP versus NDC in the constituency, the Kumawu constituency, and we're showing you how the candidates of the NPP have done over the period, because the NDC's votes have actually not been really significant. Look at 1996 up until 2020. The Adai Baswa, who represented the we would get back to this analysis. Let's go back to the Electoral Commission and listen to the one who's been declared winner of the Kumawu seat.
Last rally. So Yankopona Bekasa and Ne Edue. Mekane baby so say a Juma Yaya, any a Juma MPP party, Yaya, Gusua Yayan, and Kunimdia and Namko Mubana, and Kunimdia Cassia. Namen Passameto Nam baby, but Nametia, Makuma Muno, Minimsen Kunimdia Cassia, and Alabama MPP party. Ghana Naji MPP Atun say MPP ne party, Yabets Media Promised Land, no MPP ne party, Omoka, Omoya, and Nayakasi Abekumokwa, and Nayahu, Yakasi Ababua SCS Kumo District Hospital, and Ne Agas Yabia Hospital, no Amakuma Maya, a song for so MPP at the school feeding program by the free SHS by Ghana of Wenya Song for so Kumo enya so mfa so we ne nhyehyɛ party no ya boa Ghana man ene Kumawu man etina menim sɛ Ghana fo be hye Nana Addo Animonyam Kumawu yɛbɛhyɛ Nana Addo Animonyam yɛbɛhyɛ His Excellency the Vice President Animonyam yɛhyɛ MPP party Animonyam ama Nana Addo ne MPP nyina hunu sɛ enwoma a ɔmo yɛ Kumawu ha enwoma a yɛyɛ Ghana ha Kumawu man yɛni aso ne yɛni agye ɛsa ɛkyerɛ sɛ breaking the 8 na yɛka no ɛyɛ possible a yɛbɛsa breaking 8 no aka ho into 2024 it is a total a year a statement that says MPP we are ready to break the 8.
How do you seek to
So you have Ernest Anim there. He's the winner of the Kumawu contest, and he's enumerated reasons why he thinks that the Kumawu people have endorsed him. So we're talking about Adai Basua, who represented the NPP in 1996. He polled 15,025 votes, representing 49.60 votes. Now, in percentage-wise, 2,000 he came back again, but the votes reduced 13,554. But in percentage, he polled 57.80%. Now, in 2004, Yaoba then represented the party and went up a notch higher than Basua did for the 2 terms, 19,223, representing 70.00%. He came back in 2008, and then the votes went down, 15,217, representing 56.38%. In 2012, Philip Basua then came to represent the NPP. He polled 18,858 with 68.96%. He came back with 21, so he actually increased the votes in that area, 21,794, representing 78.17%. In the 2020 elections, however, he was keenly contested by the independent candidate Kwekudria, and he did very well with almost about 11,000 votes, and that could explain why the vote of the NPP dwindled to 14,960, which represented 51.11%. Remember that Kwekudria was a member of the NPP and pulled out to become an independent candidate. So this has been the performance of the parties in the elections in Kumawu. So look at Philip Basua in the last elections. He had 14,960, which represent 51.11%. Kwekudria, the independent candidate, he polled over 11,000. He got 39.96%. That's very dangerous. But bring it back to the by-elections that just ended. Kwekudria didn't really do much as he did in 2020. Then Bernard Opokumafu was the one who represented the NDC. Then he polled 2,439 votes, and then that represents 8.33%. Nana Mwakun with the GUM party polled 174, which represented 0.59%. So, I mean, with all the statistics we've shared with you tonight, it's safe to say that the Kumawu seat has always been a stronghold of the NPP. Look at this, and it's still the performance that the NPP has done in the parliamentary elections. All of these speak to the fact that that seat is a safe seat for the NPP. But the question is how the NPP actually campaigned in the lead up to this election. We'll be talking about all of that, and we'll be delving into all the issues that were reported from our reporters that were well represented in all the polling centers. We'll be looking at the issue of vote buying. In fact, it has come up strongly in these elections. My guest tonight, Yahweh Nim, his MPP parliamentary candidate who just won the Kumawu seat. In fact, you saw the Electoral Commission declaring him winner. Akwesi Amankwa is a parliamentary candidate for the NDC in that contest. Kwame Asante would also be joining me. He's a political science lecturer and director, Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Legon. I'll also be joined by Richard Ahiagba, his MPP Communications Director, and on the other line, I'll be joined by Mustafa Gbande, who is NDC Deputy General Secretary. All of them were at Kumawu monitoring the elections. Let's do a post-mortem after this break.
Whiskey. Wash. All of a sudden, my voice I hear different. And when you saw a call, Barman, bring me the honey whiskey. You know the one, Black Rock whiskey.
Honey whiskey.
Chalet, honey near their frau. Black Rock whiskey is strong. Now so taste me is smooth and it goes down easy. Excuse me. Barman. Bring my friend one Black Rock whiskey.
Black Rock whiskey, blended with natural honey flavor.
Hey, what's up?
Barman.
Hey, what the hell for Sikanton Sata? You have been to a man, no? Me the
Black Rock whiskey, Tabby, the feeling smoothness, no.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 years of age and not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Salary account, with the EcoBank salary account, you will enjoy free life insurance, free debit card, save while you spend, and an amazing chance to double your salary, and even more consolation rewards in the EcoBank double salary promo reloaded.
Guy, this EcoBank salary account sounds interesting. What do you think?
Yara, but maybe next time, Charlie, you know what? I'll go shine my shoe.
Hey, yo, myself, I'll go check my BP.
We going up, never go down, and we stay fly.
Chairman, see the white sign it here.
Who be late?
Open an EcoBank salary account today for a lifetime of benefits. You also stand a chance to win more than double your salary in the EcoBank Double Salary Promo Reloaded from now till July 31st. Terms and conditions apply.
And a job life regardless.
This promo is under the supervision of the National Lotteries Authority under the Caritas Lottery Platform. Read.
Imagine a family without a home. Imagine a song without a voice. Imagine a church without prayers. Imagine a government without citizens. Imagine democracy without journalists. Imagine a world without the media. Life is full of issues and stories about people, communities, and governments. Stories that have to be told by well-trained journalists. That's why you can't imagine news without Joy News.
Thank you so much for joining us on PM Express. My name is Aisha Ibrahim, and you've just heard the Electoral Commission declare Ernest Anim as winner of the Kumawu by-elections. I've been joined this evening by Richard Ahiagba, Mustafa Gbande. Ernest Anim himself will be joining, and then we have Kwesi Amankwa, who is the NDC candidate. Dr. Asa Sante is also a political science, the lecturer with the University of Ghana. I'm grateful to you, all of you, for joining. Let me start with you, Richard Ahiagba. Your candidate emerged winner this evening. Overall, how would you describe today's exercise? Hello, Richard. All right, so Richard is having a bit of problem with connection. We'll bring him back on. But let me go to Richard Kwesi Amankwa, who is the NDC parliamentary candidate in the just ended Kumawu elections. Richard, I'm grateful, Kwesi, grateful for your time, and I must say that yes, I saw that you put up a strong fight, but it didn't happen. Better luck next time. But in your estimation, what didn't work for you? Hello, Kwesi.
Hi.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Right, so I'm saying that I saw that in the lead up to the elections, you put up a really strong fight, but unfortunately it didn't work out. And I'm just saying that we wish you better luck next time. But in your estimation, I want you to actually tell me what you think didn't work for you.
It's a very, very sad day for Kumawu politics and Ghana politics, because I'm thinking about the future for the youth, that to sell futures for 50 cities and the MPP party.
Hello, Ernest?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to be careful with my choice of words, because it's very pathetic. It's a very sad day, because people deliberately buying votes, buying people's future for 50 cities, for 20 cities. I'm very, very saddened in my heart.
You have evidence of that vote buying?
Yes, videos everywhere. I saw some with my own two eyes. There were places that I was actually just speaking to people that that this is pathetic.
But that's...
It doesn't speak well of politics. It doesn't speak well of us as Ghanaians to be doing things like that.
That's an electoral offense. Why didn't you report it?
We raised the alarm, and to be honest, that's why I'm saying that I'm very, very saddened. It's not to let me be very upfront. I see myself as a winner. I have won this election, not in any way, but I feel that I've set the paper to push for this development that we need, and then to turn up as a very strong competitor. So I'm very proud of myself, and I'm proud of my team. But I'm saddened for what happened, and for what it means for Ghana politics, and for what it means for our youth, and for what it means for the youth of Kumawu. That's why I'm saddened. Because these things were done with so much impunity. There were places that I got to that you had people about 2 meters away, about 200 meters away from the venue where the elections were going on, and they were dishing out cash to people and threatening them that if you take the money, you have to go and vote for us, and all these things that they believe in. And I was so sad. There were instances that I met with young people. I met with a few of these young people, and I've forgotten the name, but I think it was Bangkok. There's a town called Bangkok in Kumawu, and I had about 6 university students who came up to me that, look, these people are paying money. We want to vote for you. Can you give us, or can you match the money that they're paying. And I said, look, I can give you more than what they're paying you, but my conscience cannot allow me to do that. So what's your price? And this is the future that we're looking at. This is our future leaders who are willing to sell their future for 50 cities.
So you said you raised alarm to who? And what was the response after raising that alarm?
We raised alarm to I've forgotten the name, the electoral officers. And their excuse was, look, we've not seen it with our own eyes, and we don't have any proof of it, and they are not here. So some of them, I would even point them out to them, and they're like, well, they are not here. So obviously, technically, we can't see them.
All right.
Showing them in the face, but technically, we can't see them because they are not here. What somebody is doing over there has got nothing to do with that here.
Right, let me bring in Richard Ahiagba. Richard, all right, so we still don't have Richard Ahiagba. That means that I would give the opportunity to Mustafa Gbande, who is also the Deputy Secretary of the NDC, who was also at the ground. We saw him in the lead up to the elections actually campaigning massively for the NDC. Mustafa, even though your candidate didn't win, you indicated earlier that you were satisfied with security arrangements and the EC's arrangements. I mean, overall, how would you describe today's exercise?
Thank you very much, Aisha. And sorry for the very poor visibility because I'm just leaving the venue. I think that we must credit ourselves, the two political parties, for leading an election that is incident-free, violent-free. We're all living the video, even though the results did not come the way we all expected. We are very excited. I think that as a party, we like to commend the IGP and his team for how prepared they stood by this election to allow the will of Ghanaians to prevail. Also, generally, I think that the Electoral Commission, even though we had few complaints, which we are still analyzing, but what is more pathetic is that the MPP and its government is leading a path that destroys the morals of our society. That Aisha, the MPP government in this by-election engage in what we simply call vote buying, physical cash in exchange of votes. That is so sad for our democracy. You will see regional chairmen, you will see MPP leadership, you will see appointees, CEOs virtually doling out money for people to vote. And even upon that, Aisha, do you know that the only margin increase for the MPP between 2020 parliamentary election and today is just about 250. That is the only increase they have made. Whereas we in the NDC have made over 1,500 increase in the votes that we had in 2020. Clearly, that is an increase of about 8.5%. And they have done a very low, margin of increase. Again, if you look at the voter apathy against government, even upon the money they've shared, the machines they've moved into the Kumawu constituency, which is more or less a risk for our movement in that constituency, upon all the voter apathy against them, they should be very worried. We in the NDC are very excited that we've put a strong fight, particularly that Kumawu is predominantly a stronghold, a backyard of the MPP since 1992. and that they actually went for a by-election without anything to show. They have no message, they have no campaign, except that government approved and sanctioned by His Excellency Danado engaged in an ethical political practice of vote buying.
Why didn't you report this because you noticed that this was happening even before the voting started? Why didn't you report it?
Aisha, we have so much evidence, but like I said, in the heat of the moment, we place security of the election as a priority than any other minor offense. It is unethical that they have engaged in it, but we wanted to achieve a violent-free election. I think that was what both parties were pursuing. And that now that we have finished the election, evidence doesn't fade, it doesn't change. We have individuals whose cars were used as banks today, where people were collecting money in order to go and vote, including regional chairman. I can mention the regional chairman of Bono region, Owusu Setre, who was one of the lead, individuals who were sharing the money.
And you have evidence of that?
We have videos, we have audios. Aisha, the entire government machinery that was relocated from Accra to Kumawu actually engaged in a fruitless exercise that did not credit them anything except 254 vote increase between 2020 and now.
But you had cause to complain earlier before this exercise that government had moved in all the big wigs into Kumawu, a seat that is a safe seat for the NPP or a stronghold of the NPP. You didn't see that necessary, but it turns out that actually worked for them. Are there lessons for the NDC?
No, it didn't work for them because we have increased our vote from 2,000 to about 3,600, whereas they have moved from 14,900 to only 15,200 and something, which is at a difference of about 295. So the movement of machines, construction machines, to Kumawu, the relocation of government machinery to Kumawu, as against a political party in opposition contested a by-election against a government machinery in whose stronghold we are going for that election, only gave them an increase in votes from what they had in 2020 and now to be 252. That is shameful. Of all the money they've wasted and put in the pockets of individuals, if they were sinking boreholes, it would have benefited the communities. If they were using that to build safe compounds, it would have benefited the community and generations yet unborn. If they were doing roads, it would have benefited the communities. However, they refused to do that, but put those monies in the pockets of individuals. That is unethical political practice. That is led by a government that has not developed the place, yet is seeking to win an election. If we continue like this, we are destroying the country, and I believe that this was government sanctioned. His Excellency Nana Bidanko Akufo-Addo sanctioned it, and that they are leading a practice that will destroy the culture of this country. They are leading a practice that will undermine our democratic gains in this country. Well, they must bow their heads in shame.
Mustafa, let me bring in the Ernest Anim, who has just been declared winner. Mr. Anim, congratulations, it's in order. What really worked for you? All right, we lost Yawa Anim there. We'll bring him back. But Richard Ahiagba thankfully has joined us. Richard, overall, how would you describe today's exercise? Hello, Richard. Kindly unmute for me.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Richard, go ahead. We can hear you.
Thank you very much. I think we've been talking about the elections much of it. Yes. I'm saying that the election today has been generally very peaceful. The processes are proceeded. There isn't anybody anywhere that would claim that there were disadvantages that is suffered. I don't think the NDC will say so. But the election proceeded very, very fairly. And in the end, as the results come in, shows what I have, about 100% of the polling stations having been compiled. The New Patriotic Party have recorded about 71% of the total votes cast. And I think that is indicative of the extent of work that was put in. And then I commend the candidate and the entire party, the national chairman of the party, the general secretary, and the entire team for a very good job done to retain the seat for the party. I hear my brother doing some very lopsided analysis, something to do with the votes appreciating by some 256%. I don't know what kind of analysis he's doing, but the MPP is won by 71%.
70.91%.
Well, I'm talking mathematical to you here, so just about 71% of the vote. Yeah, approximately.
Okay.
So clearly, the MPP has won very reasonably. The NDC came there; they didn't put in any work. The NDC showed up in time. My good brother moved around 3 days or so to the election, and they came to do some skirmishes there. They think that's how they win people's votes. But we took this election very seriously. I hear the conversation, and Moose, I call him Moose anyway because that's Mustafa. We had a conversation on the ground, and we had a conversation about this matters to say that the MPP has deployed all that we needed to deploy to make sure that we canvass the votes that we needed to canvass, because we take the election seriously. We are not considering the fact that it is our backyard and therefore we're just going to coast around and have people go and vote. We are taking it serious, and I did mention in that conversation that the new leadership of the party has an orientation to say that every election is one that has to be taken seriously. So this new energy you see is what you're going to see throughout from now till 2024. So we think that what needed to be done was what we did, and if we move to even the NDC stronghold anywhere in this country, that's how we're going to canvass for votes and make sure that the MPP wins in 2024. And indeed, if you heard the president speak on Sunday, he was clear in his analysis, in his statement to say that we are commencing our victory in 2024 in Secretary Kumawu. So I think that the signal of this result that we are talking about here indicates clearly that the New Patriotic Party is poised, we're ready and committed to give every effort to make sure that we win the 2024 election. We are not taking anything for granted. We know what work is before us, what we must do by way of bringing back the economy, which government is working very diligently to restore. We on the party side, what we have to do organizationally, what we have to do by canvassing and organizing our party to make sure we put our best foot forward. We're doing all of that. Kumawu is one step forward, and I think that the NDC is good for them, and I think you keep asking my brother that question. It's good for them to process this in ways that should advise their strategies going forward, rather than try to lean on non-existent happenings to say that that's why they lost. They lost the election. Right. There isn't. This election, what I want to suggest for my brother Mustafa is that this election is entirely different. It's not a continuation of 2020 election. Okay. It's a a brand new election that was done. So what analysis is making to say that if you compare the result we got in 2020 and what we got now, the difference is 250, and so therefore the only vote we garnered in the Kumawu is 256 is very laughable analysis. I don't know where you got that from.
All right. For the sake.
Propaganda is making him make analysis that I know he doesn't believe in. We have won that election. Every vote that have been counted, all 15,264 of them were fresh votes that were casted today, and counted.
Right.
It wasn't from 2020. They are fresh votes that were counted today.
For the sake of our viewers, these are the results of the just ended polls at the Kumawu constituency. The NPP polled 15,264, which represents 70.91%. Richard wants to approximate it to 71%. Well, the NDC polled 3,723, representing 17.29%. The independent candidate, the non-independent candidate Kwekudria polled 2,478, representing 11.51%, and the unknown Kwekudria polled 62, which represents 0.29%. Let me bring in Dr. Asante. Our reporters that were well represented on the ground pointed out a number of issues, including, some pockets of confusion. In some instances, the NDC claimed that the EC was allowing polling agents to sign the pink sheet even before voting ends. But among all these issues are the allegations of vote buying. This kept popping up even before this day came. In the lead up to the elections, we heard about all of this. Today, we saw electorates openly testifying that they actually received money from representatives of the NPP candidates. Surprised?
Aisha, good evening, and good evening to my fellow panel members. I'm not surprised the turnout of the events there. I'm not surprised. Aisha, can you hear me, please?
Loud and clear, Doc.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Doc.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised because, yes, when you follow elections in this country, issue of buying of votes is gradually becoming one of the things that define politics in this country. It is true that you and I don't support that, but the political parties hypocritically will pretend outside that they have no idea about that. They did themselves, putting such schemes to support their candidates one way or the other. It's difficult. I'm afraid it's going to be with us for a very long time until voters and givers of such endowment will realize that it's not going to do us any good. Then if they are ready, they can backtrack and turn new leaf as some. Otherwise, I'm afraid it's going to be albatross around our neck for some time to come.
Aware that the Kumawu seat is actually an NPP seat. But in the lead up to the elections, we saw all the giants, including the president, the vice president, top cabinet ministers campaigning for this elections. People were thinking that, why should they put up all of this because it's their stronghold? But did this in any way do the trick? Doc, are you on with us?
Yes, I was hearing you to the last bit that I lost you. If you can recap, I will follow the question.
Okay, I was saying that all the big wigs of the NPP that moved to Kumawu to campaign, did this in any way do the trick for the NPP to win, even though it's already their stronghold?
Every move in any election is important because a single vote will move a candidate, somebody from a candidate to become, a flag bearer or whatever it is. So you realize that you will need to marshal all forces in order to achieve your aim. More so when you are talking about a strong hold of the MPP and that they lost their candidate through death and that this exercise was to replace the candidates. Obviously, they will put in their all to get the results that they desire. It is also important to know that if you look at the mathematics in Parliament, MPP cannot afford to lose this seat. Then Parliament is going to be super interesting if MPP is supposed to lose this election. So this explains why they give their all, move the party machinery there, make sure that they leave no stone unturned and all that. So that played the trick a lot. We know that in by-elections, there are few advertisements. It's not as popular as general elections all over the world. But because of the special case that we have in Parliament, you realize that the party did not take chances at all. They went in the kill and then got the results that they desire. At this point, it doesn't really matter whether they had their votes even dwindle compared to the last election or not. That since we operate as first past the post system, whoever crosses the finish line by one vote, you carry the day. So it doesn't really matter the number of votes that they got, but that all that they needed was to win the election. The NDC, on the other hand, also did their best, pool a lot of resources to make sure that if they play, they would have also
all right, Dr. Asante.
The underdog or the contest, they knew that that's not their stronghold. They would definitely lose the election. But of course, it's a contest, so they will not lose their guard. They went there, then perform. Hello, Aisha.
Dr. Asante, yes, you made that point clearly there. Do we still have Mustafa Gbande? Mustafa, there's a tweet from Roxanne Nelson Dafiamako after the elections, and it reads that Kumawu results have poured in quick and fast. I was part of the Ashanti Region Reorganization Project in 2022, but these Kumawu votes shows we have to re-audit our register and branch executives. We have 9 executives, but has 3 and 4 votes in some branches. So where are our 9 NDC executives? Have you started interrogating this, Mustafa?
Aisha, so I just heard you read that message, and clearly we are busy discussing the fresh issues coming up out of Kumawu. And I think that the entire party machinery, the grassroots, the National Executive Committee led by Honorable Johnson Sedun Katia and Honorable Fifi Kote, my boss, actually did well. We put a good fight. Knowing that that is not our stronghold, we've been able to engage the MPP such that they have to move an entire government machinery only to get, if you recall, in 2020, Baswa didn't have the whole government machinery coming down to Kumawu. This year, the whole NPP party machinery was in Kumawu. The whole government machinery was in Kumawu. They actually moved financial resources only to increase 304 votes. For me, I have to commend the rank and file of the NDC for putting up a good fight. As for what the MP has tweeted, I am sure that you saw the response from somebody to that tweet. When we get to those issues, we will cross. But like they say, children learn from their fathers. But we are not there yet. We are here to commend the rank and file of the party for putting together a very challenging fight against government, against the party in their own backyard, where they have only increased for 304 votes. They wasted state resources, they spent a lot of money, they engaged in unethical political practice, they actually moved construction machines to site only to get 304 votes.
Thankfully, Richard Anyagba is on the line. Richard, how do you respond to these allegations? Because we've seen electorates speaking to us that they actually received money from representatives of the NPP candidate.
Well, thank you very much, Aisha. I think I've answered that question several times this morning and quite this evening as well. I spoke to that question. I was responsible for a polling station. What I did with a team of people and a number of NDC officers came to my polling station. I didn't share any money in my polling station. I went around other polling stations. I didn't see anybody sharing money. What we did was to go house to house, get our people to come out and vote early. Most of the NDC officials who came there asked me questions, why are you here? You should go to other places. You should move around. Jokingly, we had conversations about that. But I was determined to get our people out to vote, so I stayed there and got people to come out. That's how we got the votes you are announcing this evening.
Would they all happen?
All 15,264 of them. We went house to house. You need to see me. I am tired. I walked and got people to come vote. And I told you that that's the strategy we have decided to employ. And you know very well, Moose, that by-election results, by-election turnout is low. The last time we had a by-election in Kumawu, our candidate won by some 15,300 and some odd votes in 2002. 15,300 and something, right? The total turnout of that election was in the neighborhood of 20,000. So by-election results are what they are, different from general election results. And I want to ask my brother Moose, and I will spare him. They just came in and they are finding their footing in the office. That this defeat does not define their capacity. That there's a lot more they can do, and they need to reorganize their party. But this whole thing about excusing and that we have come to their backyard, they move the government machinery of that. Not just language to excuse for the failure. And everybody knows that they weren't going to win Kumawu. So we are that. So they should rather change their tone and accept that they've lost, and therefore they are learning from this. If the question I want to ask him, to help reposition his argument, would be to say that if they were in government, what would they have done? If the by-election happened and they were in government, what would they have done? And so everything he's saying is just to make excuses, or rather, instead of making to admit that, yes, we went to Kumawu to try and appreciate our vote.
So you admit that you use state resources, Mr. Anyagba?
I didn't say so. If you are listening to me, I didn't say so.
You said that if they were in power, what would they have done?
Please. I asked a question. That if they were in power, what would they have done? When he's saying that we have moved government machinery to go there. If they were in government, what would they have done? I didn't say we have done that.
Okay, so wait.
And I've said it on the network consistently.
All right. So,
hello?
Yes, Mr. Anyagba. So what?
Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I just want a clarity to that point you were making.
Yeah, what I've said quite consistently on your network is that we went to Kumawu with the focused intent to canvass every inch of space in the constituency for the votes that exist. And we worked hard and got the vote out.
Right. So this is paying
excuses for their failure to achieve whatever objective they came in there with 3 days or 4 days to election. It's not going to define the hard work we are putting.
Right. So you say that winning the elections is a reward for your hard work. Kwesi Amankwa, all is not lost because 2024 is just round the corner. What's the plan going into the 2024 elections? All right, we lost Kwesi Amankwa there. Let me bring in Dr. Asante. Do we have Ernest Anim on? Right. So, Dr. Asante, let me give you the last slot here. We also we saw that there's a low turnout today, and Richard Ahiangba has just alluded to that fact. But more importantly, many have described Kumawu as a dress rehearsal to the 2024 elections. If it is indeed a dress rehearsal, I mean, what's the way forward going into 2024, especially with allegations of vote buying? I'm saying this because we've also seen that in the NPP's delegates conference that ended not too long ago, the NDC's primaries that ended just recently, and we're also seeing this today. What's the way forward going into 2024?
I think the way forward is that going for 2024, the advocacy must continue unabated. We need to educate people about the need to exercise their franchise without any inducement. Once you allow people to induce you, they've taken over your franchise, and then you are going to do their bidding. Yes, politicians do these things to achieve certain specific aim. One, to intimidate voters with regard to what they receive from them, that if you don't do, there is a retribution for you. They also give them this type of inducement so as to vote for a specific direction and the rest of them. But the way forward is that we need to be able to put a team in place that will monitor the political landscape for acts of corrupt as this, and then, hate speech and the rest of them. When we identify that you are the one giving out these things, we name you, you shame you, and then we canvass against you so as to deter people from such action that undermine forces of the country.
Indeed,
if we are not able to do that, I'm afraid this problem will continue to be albatross around our neck.
2024 indeed will be interesting because definitely, as we saw some candidates who say they had received the money, we saw some outwardly rejecting that money that was given to them by the candidate. So it is something we're watching out. Definitely, we will see how it pans out in 2024, and that'll be it tonight. Thank you so much, Dr. Asante. Thank you, Mustafa Gbande, Richard Ahiangba. Thank you so much for joining us, and Kwesi Amankwa. We lost a name; he couldn't join us, but you heard him speak earlier and enumerated why he thinks that the party or the electorate actually voted for him. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
Tee up someone in red, and it goes to
What 5 Champions League? You want to know? I be the real goat, Chairman. What's the real goat? The left magician, the left magician.
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigerian Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
For that shift. You took the lie. Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
You are lying. Ghana Jollof.
body. Yeah. My guy. Put some respect on the goat. On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tema. Every year, we dey give to you back. We are talking about BET. I want some Yadiaji face. Except be the goat. Huh? My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 and recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.